The Knicks post-game show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. The Knicks pretty much led all the way until the final stages. Kelly Oubre for three. Sixers took a 4-point lead down the stretch, but tied at 102. It's Jalen Brunson. Who else? For three. Got the roll. Brunson 14 in the fourth, scores 11 of the Knicks' final 13. And the Knicks prevail, hanging on to beat the Sixers 110-105. Great to have you with us, Bill Pidto, along with Wally Szczerbiak, who helped call the game on the radio on ESPN New York. Maybe a little bit closer than we all expected. Knicks were up by 19 in the first half. Sixers were up 4-2 and then didn't lead until the final minutes. But, hey, Jalen Brunson again won the game for the Knicks.
Completely bailed the Knicks out. The momentum completely swung to the Philadelphia 76ers. They dominated the fourth quarter. The Knicks had terrible possessions offensively most of that fourth quarter until Jalen Brunson drew a couple huge fouls to get himself to the free throw line, just put a couple points on the board, hang in there in this game. They were down 4. The Knicks were under 3 minutes. And what does Jalen Brunson do? Gets a couple layups, gets a couple tough buckets, and when the momentum started to swing back the Knicks' way, he takes a really tough, huge three, knocks it down, gets the roll when it rattled almost in and out. Remember, the previous possession, Maxi's three rattled in and out. Brunson stayed in. He is as good as it gets when it comes to closing games, and it's nice to have a guy like that on your team, because if you don't have a guy that clutch, the Knicks lose this game every day of the week.
Brunson at one point scored 11 straight points in the fourth quarter, and I mentioned 11 of the Knicks' final 13 points. Knicks up double digits early in the fourth. They had to pull it out. No Joel Embiid, no Karl-Anthony Towns, and the Knicks had to pull it out.
Yeah, it was a very stagnant quarter for the Knicks, and Paul George started to get going. Tyrese Maxey started the game 2 for 10, still got to 30 points. The Knicks struggled to stop him. This one, Kelly Oubre, big three, blowing kisses to the Knicks bench. Boy, that's got to be annoying, and obviously it annoyed Jalen Brunson because he came back with the answers, cutting the lead to 2. Oh, that tied the game at 102, and that was the big shot. Tyrese Maxey's like, really? This guy again? He's going to do it to us again? And then how about the defense? Precious Achiuwa, Andre Drummond gets the rebound, doesn't go strong. If you're a big man, you got to go strong with that ball. Jalen Brunson gets fouled, so then the Knicks up 3. OG Anunoby off the cut gets a nice look at the basket because everyone was guarding Jalen Brunson, didn't want him to get the ball. And boy, was that a good win for the Knicks. Was not a well-played win, although the Knicks shot the ball well. But you'll take the win any way you can get it. 3-0 against the Philadelphia 76ers. Let me remind you of that, Bill Pidto.
Knicks only took 19 threes. Now, no Cat. He can take a three, a handful of threes in a game. He obviously out with a sore knee, but they only took 19 threes, way below their average. You see the rest of the numbers. Knicks win points in the paint and the rebounding battle, which is all important to the Knicks under Tom Thibodeau. Alan Hahn, part of the broadcast crew tonight. As always, Alan, what do you think tonight?
Well, that second half, as I said to Mikal Bridges, it didn't need to be that hard, but it got that way because, number one, Nick Nurse and the junk defenses that he comes up with and finds ways to disrupt the game. And this Sixer team was definitely trying to end a losing streak and try to steal a win here. Turnovers were an issue. You know, Andy Greer, the assistant coach that I interviewed at halftime, that's the first thing he pointed out when I said about the second half. He said, we got to take care of the ball because this team will force turnovers. That really turned the game. 10 turnovers in the second half. But as Wally mentioned, it is incredible. We've almost gotten so used to it. When the game's on the line, Jalen Brunson is there, and he makes all the big plays and all the big buckets that you need to get that momentum back. And, of course, Precious Achiuwa with a big block. That was very important because with Ariel Hukporti out with the injury and then no Karl-Anthony Towns, the Knicks had to play a smaller lineup with Achiuwa at center at 6'8", and they were making sure they were playing a big lineup. So it really did take the whole team effort to get this win. It probably didn't have to, but after this weekend, you'll take it.
Alan, I'm just curious. There's something that's not right about this team, the way they're playing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I'm wondering, and I mentioned this on the radio broadcast, do you think the team is possibly just looking forward to the return of Mitchell Robinson?
There's been so much talk about it and what Mitchell Robinson can bring to this team defensively. And in fact, I thought it was interesting giving Hukporti the start at center and what that looked like and how they were playing in the drop coverage in the pick and roll. And in the beginning of the game, everything looked really good. Defensively, they were very active. You started to see shot blocking and rim protection. And I was thinking to myself, this looks like what it's supposed to look like when Mitchell Robinson returns. I don't know if they're necessarily waiting for that, if it's anticipation. I just think right now, you're right, Wally. Something is a little off with this team. The offense was easy in the first half, but when the Sixers turned it on and played harder in the second half, you just saw the Knicks get stagnant again, and they needed Jalen Brunson to save them.
Alan, another test against a top team at Memphis on Friday. We've talked about the litmus test, and obviously this past weekend was difficult. What do you expect on Friday, and how important is it for the Knicks to at least put forth a solid effort?
Very important, number one. Number two, let's not forget, when the Grizzlies were here, what happened? The Knicks put it to them. They embarrassed them in that game. They are very physical, and so you think Memphis is not going to remember that. They're also trying to stay where they are in the Western Conference. That's a tough building to play in Memphis. And so for the Knicks, it is another opportunity to try to answer the bell when it comes to one of the top teams in the NBA. But, first half, everything looked great. Loved the way Mikal Bridges was aggressive with his scoring, had 28 points, most of them in that first quarter. But you're going to need to see him continue to do that. You're going to need to see OG Anunoby keep raising his game to another level. And then, of course, we'll see the health issues with Karl-Anthony Towns in that knee. If he can be available, they're going to need him in that game.
All right, Alan, we'll talk to you on Friday night. You mentioned Bridges with a 28. 19 came in the first quarter, and OG Anunoby contributed 16 points. So, not easy for the Knicks, but as Wally always says, a win is a win in the NBA. Knicks win it 110-105 over Philly tonight. Back now from the Corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. Next up for the Knicks are at Memphis on Friday. We have the pregame at 7:30 and the game at 8. Remember, back here in New York in late January, the Knicks beat Memphis 143-106. We'll see what happens on Friday night. In the meantime, let's now listen into Knicks coach Tom Thibodeau. As always, his postgame comments presented by Chase.
Yeah, we get the lead, built a big lead. Then, they hit some shots on us, closed the gap, and then the start of the fourth, they had Maxey and George in, so that they closed the gap there. We were trying to buy some time, and then we made timely plays down the stretch to pull it out.
Talk about that. We've seen it so many times, but Jalen, you guys fall down by 4. I think he scores 11 straight. Just to kind of take the game over there. Yeah, just, big shot after big shot. We had a number of guys, step up and make big plays, and they're tough covers. Yeah, Maxey is a load to deal with. Paul George is a load to deal with, and Oubre is one of the most underrated guys in the league. And I thought Drummond gave him good minutes too. They had a big, offensive rebound that turned into a 3 for them late in the game. So we knew it would be a hard-fought game. And just find a way to win. That's the bottom line. I thought Ariel gave us really good minutes. I thought Precious did. OG and Mikal was terrific. The whole game. And so not only his scoring, but he's on Maxey the whole time, and they're running a lot of stuff for him, and so and he's dangerous in every phase of the game, whether it's transition, it's the pick and roll, it's off the ball, catch and shoot, flares, that type of stuff. So you got to get around screens the whole time. So just find a way to win, and that's what we did.
It felt like there was a stretch there in the third where guys were on offense were maybe not going rogue, but a lot of isolation stuff, maybe breaking plays off early. Was it something that they were doing, or did you think?
Yeah, they were small. Well, that's you say small. They were doing a lot of switching, and so then it becomes a drive and kick game, and so that's that's part of it. And then when Bona was in, they could switch 1 through 5, and so and that's where we got to make sure we get to our cutting game too.
What was the importance of Mikel's hot start, especially on a day you were shorthanded?
It was huge. Obviously, you're not replacing a guy like Cat individually. You have to do it collectively. And I thought the way Mikal played, like his aggressiveness to start the game was huge. And then I thought Jalen and Josh and everyone for that matter started searching him out and trying to create advantages for him. So it was good team play, and Mikal was terrific.
How do you think Hart is doing playing through the injuries, and how is Cat doing?
Good. Cat seems like he's fine. Josh is just tough, in every, so 17 rebounds is, he's everywhere. And timely plays, like rebounds, the rebounds in traffic are special, because he's covering a lot of ground to get to the ball, and he's doing it through big bodies and stuff. So, and I think those type of plays unite and inspire the team. They're great hustle plays, and then oftentimes it also triggers the break for us, whether he's getting it out quick or he's pushing it himself. And so, he makes us play at a really good pace, and we need that.
What happened with Hakporti?
I haven't talked to medical yet, so I'm not sure.
What are you seeing with Hakporti now in the season, his start, versus what you saw earlier on?
Just, he's a young guy who's learning and getting better. I think each experience when he plays, you're going to learn something. And so, there's good plays. There's plays that obviously he could do a lot better. He's just got to keep working at it.
What do you see from OG?
Just the toughness. Like he guards, the tough matchup every night, and he's running the floor. He got us some easy buckets, moves without the ball, shoots the three. So he's still, working on his time. Defensively, he's been terrific. In offense, usually it takes a little bit of time to get your rhythm back. He was out a good chunk of time, but it seems like it's starting to really come now. So I think that'll be a big plus for us as well.
With Maxey being 5th in the NBA in scoring, how do you think the team did covering him?
The thing is, he's a tough matchup, and guys like it's hard to guard those guys individually. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to make him work for his points. And I thought Mikal, he did a great job of really working to make it as hard as he could on him. And then there's also the situations in which you're switching, and then another screen is coming to pick and roll. So there's you have your smalls and your bigs, and they have to be tied together. But his speed is a huge asset for them. Yeah.
Josh Hart, 17 rebounds. Coach
Wow.
talked about him. His career high is 19.
Wow.
Jalen Brunson had 7 assists, all in the first quarter.
Crazy.
Mikal Bridges came into this game, Wally, averaging only 12 per game over his last 7. He got 19 in the first quarter and finished with 28. Most of Brunson's first quarter assists went to Bridges, and then because they needed him to score, he took over down the stretch.
Yeah, he did what he needed to down the stretch. It was very impressive. Bridges playing well with no Karl Anthony Towns. That is a key, because he's going to move up on the shot chart and the totem pole as far as getting looks and being a focal point in the offense. Jalen Brunson just doing everything to help his team win. And I just can't help but think, if they lost this game, how down that locker room would be. But thanks to Jalen Brunson, thanks to these assists, thanks to the big shots that he made throughout the course of the game, and especially taking over that fourth quarter, the Knicks are able to taste another victory over their rivals, the Philadelphia 76ers. That's 3-0 against the Sixers. That was a key bucket at the end of the game that tied it. And then here's the dagger, the pull-up. Maxey dares him to shoot that three. Maxey can't believe that rattled in. And Jalen Brunson, the signature 3 fingers. Do you smell it? Do you smell what Jalen Brunson's cooking, Bill?
Are we taking this for granted? It seems like every time.
We are. I'm trying to express how legendary this is.
We haven't seen this in our time here.
No.
Not even close. And at any time that they need him to do that, he seems like he comes through.
I played with a lot of great players. I played with LeBron. I played with Paul Pierce, KD, Kevin Garnett. The stuff that he is doing in the fourth quarter It is Kobe-esque. It is Michael Jordan-esque. It is Luka Doncic at times has done it, recently with his clutch play. He is as good as it gets when the game is on the line in the fourth quarter in the NBA. If you give me one pick, I'll take Jalen Brunson the way he's playing in the last 5 minutes in the whole entire league.
All right, so Brunson coming through again. Next up for the Knicks at Memphis on Friday. Pregame at 7:30, game at 8. Knicks win tonight as Jalen Brunson scores 11 of the Knicks' final 13. Here's Brunson after the game with Alan Hahn.
Can you just talk about the importance after this weekend of making sure this ended in a win?
Yeah, we needed that. Just happy that we came in with a win. We still have a lot of work to do.
What happened in that second half that led to a game that felt like you were in control of that suddenly wasn't?
Turnovers, them making threes, and just keep playing the lead down. And we just weren't as focused. We were pretty careless with the ball, but it's all good. We just got to respond. We can't talk about it, and I think we responded in a way that helped us get a win. So not ideal. Obviously, it's not what we want, but it's a win and we move forward.
What goes through your mind in that moment when they take the lead and it seemed like you just refused to let this team lose with each possession?
Don't really know what's going through my mind, but I think I'm more focused on just the next play. You can't talk about it. You can't worry about the past. You just got to move on and figure out what are we going to do about it now. And that's really the only thing going through my mind.
What did you see from Ariel? He got the start, obviously. What did you like about it, how he played?
I've said this way before, but I'm proud of the way he comes to the game and impacts the game and what he does. And he's retained a lot in a very short amount of time. And so nothing but proud and excited of the way he's been playing.
How important was Mikel's first quarter, especially being shorthanded today?
Yeah, it was big time. He came out and made some shots, and he was moving without the ball, and just played really well. I think he played well on both sides of the ball today, and that's what we expect of him. That's what we know he can do, and so nothing we haven't seen before.
You often talk about just playing with the flow and whatever you see out there, but was it a conscious effort to kind of take over offensively without Cat there down the stretch?
I mean, not really. Just focusing on the next play, and whatever I see is what we're gonna try to attack. And so, I'm not going in saying I'm going to score. I'm just going in and saying I'm going to be aggressive to make the right play and go from there.
Mention it. The right play in the first quarter was to set up Mikal Bridges.
Yes.
The right plays in the fourth quarter was to score and win the game.
Yeah, and he's just so good that he can do a lot of things to help your team win. He tries to set up his teammates first and foremost, but when it comes down to the stretch and the Knicks can't find a way to buy a basket, he's got to put the game into his own hands and take matters into his own hands. And it was just an impressive performance in that fourth quarter.
All right, so with Ariel Hukporti starting, although he did come out with what the Knicks say is a sore knee, it was Precious Achiuwa coming off the bench. And here's Achiuwa after the game with Alan Hahn.
What did it take to finish this game off after they made that comeback?
Just playing hard, playing the right way. I think we'll stay together, continue to trust each other on both sides of the floor, and just obviously letting Jalen do what he do. Crunch time, just get him the ball in his area.
Defensive play you made on Drummond was a huge part of it as well. How did you read that?
I mean, my initial intention was to foul him. When he got the rebound, because Tyrese had drove. I went to go help. Shot the flow to miss, but I couldn't recover quick enough to get the rebound. So he got the ball, and my initial reaction was to foul him, before he could get a shot off. But then when he went up, I was like, I had perfect timing on it. I'm going to just go for the block instead. So.
Wally Szczerbiak, career-high 4 blocks. And again, it's a Knick defender blocking an opponent's shot with the game hanging in the balance.
Just like Mikal Bridges against Vucevic a couple days ago in that Chicago game-saving block. I agree. I thought Precious Achiuwa foul Drummond. He's not a great free throw shooter, and the Knicks had the lead at the time, but Drummond didn't go strong with that ball. He had inside position. He's bigger than Precious Achiuwa. He just put the ball right in front of Achiuwa, and Achiuwa's got those long arms. Great timing. That was a monster block, part of 4, like you mentioned, his career high.
Achiuwa played 30 minutes off the bench. Jalen Brunson had 34. Tyrese Maxey had 30, but went 0 of 10 from downtown. We're taking a look ahead next. All right, so the Knicks are at Memphis Friday, at Miami Sunday. They come home for one to host the Warriors, and then they go west at LA on the 6th and at the Clippers on the 7th. We're wrapping things up after this. Updating the Eastern Conference standings. Boston lost to the Pistons tonight, so the Knicks are 3.5 behind the Celtics for second. Pacers 1, so the Knicks remain 4.5 in front of Indiana in third with the Pacers in fourth. Next up for the Knicks at Memphis on Friday. Pregame at 7:30, game at 8. You can also stream our coverage on MSG Plus now in the Gotham Sports app. Want more than just a post-game show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.